Taking my kids down to the beach, I was shocked at how different it was just in a lifetime from when I'd been a child. I remembered building sandcastles and playing with feathers and sticks and shells, and my children were playing with plastic. I decided I wanted to do something to try to clean up this mess, and ended up setting up the group. We get 20, 30, sometimes up to 80 people coming out every month in terrible weather often to help clean up the plastic. Here we have something everybody knows, absolutely loads and loads and loads and loads of pieces of plastic bottles and bottle tops. This is a very, very small section of a project that we did a couple of years ago. We worked with beach cleaning groups around Cornwall, and over a 3-month period we focused on picking up bottle tops because we find them so much on our beaches, and we were shocked. Even after 3 months we'd got about 65,000. And we strung these all together into this giant chain, which in total measured over 1 kilometre long. More and more we're finding balloons on the beaches. A lot of them are from parties, or a lot of them are branded corporate balloons from organisations that give them away, or actually do balloon releases where they're letting hundreds and hundreds go off into the sky. It's estimated that plastic in the sea kills 1 million seabirds every year and 100,000 whales and dolphins and turtles and seals. If you can see, this is a turtle that when it was a baby climbed inside one of these plastic rings that go around the necks of bottles. So it was actually the turtle's hard-shelled body that had to grow deformed around the plastic. We've got racks and racks and trays and shelves of all sorts of things that you can imagine, some common things, some unusual things that wash up on our beaches, and we use a lot of them in public awareness displays and events, and also to make pieces of artwork from marine debris.
My name is Lisa Pirivilla and I am from Kitzbühel, and I come here as a volunteer to do the beach cleanup here in Cornwall, in Corsand. And out of our plastic pieces we make some art. We make the continents of sand and put some plastic pieces of the blue-colored ocean to show how many plastic waste is in the ocean. It's a Rain Peninsula logo, and we actually decided to make the logo with all this plastic which we found in the beach. When I got the opportunity or the offer to join the project about environmental issue, I was quite excited about it, because I was in Corsand already once in September, and the place is just magical. And when I saw how much plastic we can find around the coast, it's just very useful to be part of it, and it's a very good feeling actually.
Human decisions and behaviours are the core of the problem, plastic pollution. As opposed to some other environmental problems, there is no natural factor. All the plastic pollution in our seas is due to humans. We've done some research around telling people where plastic pollution comes from. For example, we've done a study where we showed them cosmetic products that have microplastics in them, and we literally we used samples. We bought samples in a shop and extracted the microplastics, and we handed those over to people who came to us in the lab to look at and see the amount of plastic that's actually in these products. And then we recorded in a sort of systematic way their reaction to it. And it was really interesting to see, because having experiential access to this, there was this real sense of shock and disbelief. You know, is that really how much is in the facial scrub? And that led on to an exploration. They then said, so where does it go next? It goes down the drains, and then do the fish eat it? And there was a real spontaneous sort of engagement with the issue. And then it followed on to behaviour change. So some people said, well, I don't know what alternatives to use. Other people said, I'm going to change my behaviour now. I feel really bad. There are a few things we know about behaviour from the literature. For example, social norms are a very important predictor. So if everyone around you is very careful about plastic and they're recycling it all, they're trying to avoid too much single-use plastic, then you're more likely to do so as well. Another important factor is perceived control. So if you feel you can do something about the problem, you're more likely to try. We're trying to address this as well, trying to give people a sense that what you do matters.
I'm Rob Arnold, and I've set up this exhibition. My mission is to try and raise awareness of the plastic pollution in our environment and the damage it is doing to sea creatures. And again, I've used pieces that hopefully people will recognise. This is a child's spade. These are pieces of lobster pots. They're actually trapdoors from lobster pots. Some of these bits of plastic I found just as they were with the holes in, and I thought, yeah, it's great, looks like a good shape. It's a flip-flop sandal. These sand toys that we find on the beach all the time, they get lost in abandoned molds that children use for playing in the sand. This is a cap. Peak of the cap, and I was quite pleased with that piece. As soon as I picked it up, I had an idea in my head what it was going to be. It represents the shark's jaw. It's goggles, safety goggles. These pieces are used in fishing boats, fishing trawlers, and they're conveyors, plastic conveyors. They're actually the links of big conveyor belts, and they link together like this. We find these where they have a breakage and the whole lot goes into the ocean. Piece of a Wellington boot. So yeah, that's it. And I just wanted. It's quite a dark image, and I feel this is what I want to do with my art. I don't want to create pretty pictures. I want people to see what's happening. I want to communicate the tragedy of what's going on in our oceans.
Very early on, in fact in my very first year of surveying seals, I discovered that there was a very horrible thing going on, and that I was seeing seals caught up in plastic. Seals are very curious creatures. Sometimes a bit of plastic is the most interesting thing that they encounter during a day. They'll find it in the water and they will engage with it and play with it. And watching a seal in the water play enthusiastically with a bit of trawl net is interesting until the seal finds that a little bit of its body, like its flipper, has been caught in the net.
Come in. It's coming.
We have seen seals caught in a range of things, from bandanas, scarves around their necks, to packing bands, through to hooks from anglers and fishing nets of all descriptions.
Here at the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, we mainly provide a rehabilitation programme for Atlantic grey seals during the pupping season, which is usually about September to January time, but we'll be working hard all the way up until March, April the following year. We do rescue between 50 to 70 pups each season, but unfortunately, even though it is a very small percentage, the odd few of them will be coming to the sanctuary due to entanglement, due to marine debris and discarding fishing gear.
Fathom's Free is a group of volunteer marine conservationists. We're bringing stuff up, we're cataloguing it on the shoreline, and that gives the opportunity for members of the public to come over and discuss what's happening, and generally they're very intrigued in what divers do, how they do it, why we're doing it. And that's a fantastic opportunity to get the sort of message out there to people.
Yeah. A large proportion of our retrievals actually consists of ghost gear, so lost, discarded, abandoned fishing gear such as ropes, nets, monofilament lines, lead weights, sometimes lobster pots.
One of the biggest problems with it is it poses a persistent threat. These materials are made to last, they're not made to break down quickly in the marine environment. They have to withstand some very severe conditions. So, for example, this is a net which came up with the wreck of the Conqueror. The Conqueror went down in 1977, so this has been in the water for 40 years. To put it in perspective, the wreck itself is now unrecognisable. It's literally just lumps of metal on the seabed. But the net itself is still perfectly strong.
It's a great thing to take something which is hazardous to marine life out of the environment and know that it's no longer causing a threat. I don't think a lot of people, I certainly never thought about this before, was that if you lose a net or a lobster pot, it's still working. It's just going to keep working. The lobster you see in it might have been the 10th one that's gone in there.
Part of the frustration I came along whilst doing this and whilst doing our beach cleans was what to do with the litter afterwards. We're finding a huge amount of stuff which was actually very recyclable. You see here from this piece of net, it's a very decent quality plastic. This will be HDPE and does have a value. Unfortunately, in the UK, there's no recyclers set up for recycling this stuff. So what we've done in the case of the Southwest is partner up with Plastics Global in Denmark. This is one product we've been working on developing. This is a sit-on-top sea kayak that has been made out of recycled material. The idea being is our first batch we can use as an awareness tool as much as anything else. Mevagissey is one of the few places which has still managed to retain its traditional fishing fleet, and it's a lot of small scale traditional fishing which is generally accepted as being more sustainable. Fathom's Free are very keen to help support the fishing industry wherever we can to help reduce gear losses, and we actively talk to fishermen quite regularly as through part of our awareness events. We get approached by them all the time, and it's quite interesting to hear the challenges they face and try and work with them to find solutions for these challenges. Gear loss is quite often inevitable in certain circumstances. We live in a place where we have very severe weather conditions, and we have regular large winter storms through, and some gear does get lost in that. And it's a lot of times a case of just trying to build trust within the fishing community that we're not trying to point a finger or create blame. What we're trying to do is just help, or in some cases recover stuff that they've lost so it can be put back into being actively fished again, and help them in their promotion of sustainable fishing practices. Part of the challenges they've had here within the harbour is the high cost of disposal of end-of-life fishing gear, and something we're trying to assist in by working within this fishing community. So we're here today to have a look at some of the gear we plan on taking away, some of the end-of-life fishing gear, and adding into our scheme, which is net collection and recycling through our project partner Plastics Global. We've got other organisations that we partner with in Cornwall, Cornwall Wildlife Trust being one of them. They're interested in having some kayaks alphas, which can be used as a community resource by them, and they can start going off around the coves and taking people out, getting them interested in marine life issues and starting to see what the problem is, and the circular economy story that comes along with it is also very valuable.
We're really lucky in Cornwall because we've got an amazing coastline. It's really varied and it's full of life. So just go down on a low tide and look under the seaweeds and under the rocks, and you'll find a whole wealth of interesting marine life. Shore Search is a citizen science project where we go out and we record the wildlife we find on our shores. Now, the aim of Shore Search is to raise awareness of our marine environment and how diverse it is and how interesting it is, and try and get people to really support protection for our local marine environments. But also, very importantly, we're gathering information on areas very few studies have been carried out on. So every time we go out on the shore, we're often finding things that have never been recorded before in that location. It's exploration, it's exciting, it's engaging, and all of the information collected will be vital in our conservation work.
So my name is Laura, and in 2013, along with a couple of my friends, we were car sharing to work, and we decided and looked into why there wasn't a marine group or a conservation group in Newquay, considering it's so big. So we started talking to some stakeholders and talking to a few people, and in 2013 we officially set up Newquay Marine Group. It was at the beginning just about beach cleans and events and getting together with friends who like-minded individuals, and it's grown into something amazing now. We have about 150 members with a social media reach of about 2,000.
We like to look for yeah.
When we started the beach cleans as part of the marine group, we realised that actually a way of engaging a lot of people was through beach cleaning. And we would do one a month, and we'd start slow, and we'd do just having a catch up and a cup of tea afterwards. And they've really grown, especially in the summer, where we put posters around, and it's for anyone and everyone. They're kids, dogs, everyone's welcome.
We came because we threatened to come for a while and we haven't got round to it, so we thought we would come down, as this is our sort of local beach. It seems only fair that we come down and put a little bit back really, and pick up some of the bits that are knocking around.
We picked up a packet, it's full of them.
Yeah.
And we picked up some rope.
We're from the West Midlands, and we have a place down here, and we enjoy everything about the beaches, and we like to see them kept clean for us and our visitors, and we feel that's important, so we're happy to contribute by doing this.
Yeah, do our bit towards helping keep the beaches clean.
My name's Daisy. I study at Cornwall College. I'm a big part of the Nuki Marine Group. When I was younger, I was very privileged to be around the sea a lot with my father, so with that I learnt a lot of respect about the sea, understood it a lot more, and from that I've always wanted to pursue it, and now being part of the Nuki Marine Group I feel I can do that a lot more. Something I feel really passionate about, as well as the marine life, just maintaining the area, getting locals involved. As today we've had an absolutely amazing turnout, you know, children that are really inspired by getting involved and doing beach cleans, and you know, it's fantastic to see younger generations doing that because it is for them as well.
These are our beautiful new refillable metal water canisters. So just encouraging people to use the tap, because we have this amazing free resource that so many countries don't have. And we use something like 1 billion plastic bottles in Europe every 6 months, I think, is the statistic. So it's part of a bigger thing that Nuki Marine Group have had an ambition to do for a long time. We'd really like to make Nuki single-use plastic free. Takeaway wrapping, plastic coffee cups, plastic coffee cup lids, straws. These are all things that are used once, thrown away. We don't need them. The leaflet that will go with the bottles says, delivered by Atlantic clouds, cleansed by ancient moorland, filtered by granite tors, poured by Morwenna, enjoyed with a pasty. Cornish tap water refills. Amazing. Is it true? Do you think our water is that good? Yeah. The reason that we use most of this stuff is just that most of us haven't stopped and thought about why and where it comes from and what we're using. So just by making a really small change, stopping and asking people to think, to use tap water instead of bottled water, or to not accept a plastic straw, just by making really small changes encourages more people to think, and suddenly you get a huge movement.
When you ask people directly, most of them say, I want the ocean to be healthy, I want the animals to be healthy. And there are very few who say, I don't care. I think the key is working with partners, with industry, with consumer organizations, with all those community groups that are doing amazing work already, and bring the research and those activities together to really come up with a solution that works.
Somebody once said to me, if you were sat at a bar as an old seal, reminiscing about the past, what would you think? I think that over the life of a seal that I know, the marine environment has changed almost beyond belief. Fisheries have changed, noise from all sorts of shipping has changed, but I honestly think the main change will be that the oceans and the seabeds are much more colourful than they ever used to be. Why are they more colourful? Well, it's because of the amount of plastic and debris that we've put there. And the good thing is, with ocean optimism and the hundreds and hundreds of people and lots of really joined up organisations that we've got in Cornwall, I think we might be tipping the balance and starting to make the difference.